And welcome back to this special edition of Inside Indiana Business and Indy Tech Town Hall, powered by Comcast Business. We are coming to you this week from downtown Indianapolis and the Union 525. It's the latest tech hub, and it's quite a complex, a former high school being transformed into really a high-tech haven. Well, we opened up talking about the kind of the landscape in Indianapolis and central Indiana for tech. I want to talk about some of the challenges now. There are several. Some of the challenges that get talked about most of all, venture capital, funding ideas and companies, but also talent, the ability to attract and keep talent. Chris, I'll start with you on the talent issue. It gets a lot of attention. The market's tight for technology, especially as we see more companies announce hiring plans and those types of things. What's your take on talent attraction?
Well, I think you know, you have to be able to tell a really interesting story to people, and you've got to help them see the vision. And it's getting tight. You know, we need to start thinking as a community about recruiting from outside of our community. But I also think we have a huge benefit with these universities that we have. So, you know, when I moved here in the early 90s, I think the stat was something like 87% of all college graduates left the state. And I don't know what the number is now, but I have to think it's significantly better than that.
Yeah. Tim, we talked about a tight market off camera in the break here, and you said, well, it may be tightening here, but it's nothing compared to maybe some other spots.
It is a tight market for, particularly for deep technical sets or marketing, the more specialized you get in particular. But boy, if we think we have it tough here, I'm really glad I'm not in the Bay Area day in and day out. The talent wars that are happening there with, you know, offers to double your salary if you leave, and people, almost more of a free agent kind of mentality where people switch companies, switch jerseys multiple times a year. While we have our challenges, I'm glad we're not in some of the other markets.
Yeah. What should Indianapolis be doing? You talk about quality of place. There was a question about culture earlier, in that changing culture. What are some of the things you think we really need to do, Danielle, to be attractive, to not only keep talent, but attract it here from elsewhere?
Well, I think continuing to beat the drum and sound the drum on what the vision is. So knowing that where we're going and where we want to go in terms of technology and growing our community and culture is really important to be able to portray that vision. Secondly, I think we need to double down on what's working. You know, I referenced earlier, TechPoint, I think, has a really phenomenal stat around their extern program. They have hundreds of kids that come in from all over the country.
And these are college students. College students from all over the country.
Yes,
right? Yeah.
Something like 5% of them see themselves living and working in Indiana, and when they leave that program, 95% of them see themselves working and living in Indiana. So if we're able to show someone what the vision is, I think that they see it, they buy into it, they see what a great community we have, and they come and join the ranks.
Yep.
Yeah, I think the live, work, play triad is an important formula to keep refining. Things like the cultural trail that connects communities throughout the Indy area and ultimately to suburban locations north and south. I think that's a not to be underestimated component of choices that people make when they're deciding where they're going to move after college, let's say. If they're into biking, hiking, walking with their families, you know, these are important assets to have to attract that kind of talent.
Have a question from the audience.
Hi, my name's Tim Hickel. I'm from Springbok. And Danielle, I thought you brought up a really good point when you talked about uniting that vision and really articulating that vision. Anecdotally, I've observed that a lot of people from Indianapolis struggle to articulate that vision. So I'd love to hear from the panel what your perspective is on what that vision is and what we as a community should be doing to articulate that more clearly as we communicate about the Indianapolis tech community compared to other communities around the country.
Absolutely. So I think it's really pretty simple. It's two things. You know, one, we want to be a leader in technology. I think that we've spent the last, 2 decades really pushing that rock up the hill, and we're in a place where we've seen tremendous amount of growth and tremendous success there. And I think it's time to double down. You know, if you're interested in excelling in technology and being in a place where your leaders will invest in you, this is the place to be. And then secondly, that it's a great place to live. You can live here, you can start businesses here. We have strong ecosystems that will support you in several types of endeavors, but really we want to make sure that we are pushing ourselves to be a leader in technology. That's where I think we need to go.
Anyone else on that articulating that vision? I think that is a great point. We don't do a good job of kind of telling what is a great story.
I agree. I think it depends what angle you're coming at it from. I mean, now that I get to shine more of a venture lens on it, what one of the things we talk a lot about is capital efficiency. You can build a business here. Your time to business impact is as fast in Indianapolis as any market I've seen, because you can get a business up and running with a group of experts and domain experts who have oftentimes previously built a business and are plugging in. But the costs are so much less than so many other markets. You can get it done so much more cost efficiently and effectively.
Very good. Do we have another question from the audience?
Hi, I'm Phil Tran from Fishers High School in Launch. My question is, how do we encourage the younger generation to pursue entrepreneurship as a viable career option?
Very good.
I think one thing that we can do is give kids of all ages insight, give them a look into what it's like to be an entrepreneur, right? It's really easy to understand how you become a doctor today or how you become a lawyer, but it's not always clear how you become an entrepreneur. And so I think by bringing elementary, middle school, high school age kids into our ecosystems, into our places of work, the Speakeasy, Launch Fishers, Launch Indy, showing them what it's like to work in an entrepreneurial company, I think what you see is it really starts to cater to their natural and innate desires to kind of work in an evergreen space, right? They don't want rules constraining them on what they can think about or do every day. And so, you know, the life as an entrepreneur is one of the most liberating things in the world, because it's really up to you to add value to the world. You're not relying on someone else coming out with a list and saying, do these 3 things today, unless they're investors, of course. I'm kidding. But I think giving our young people insight into what it means to be an entrepreneur is a good first step.
Exposure, exposure, exposure. I feel very strongly about this one. Studies show that if you expose a kid to entrepreneurism between the ages or the grades of 5th grade and 8th grade, their likelihood to become an entrepreneur skyrockets. And really it's that molding and being able to allow them to think about different ways that the world interacts with and different businesses interact. And you know, I can give an example. My 5-year-old son came to a pitch competition right when I started the Speakeasy. And I left, I had no information. We left and I said, did you get this? Did you understand what was going on? And he looked at me and he said, well, the best idea wins.
Perfect.
There you go.
And that's it. I mean,
Very
just
good.
get them to get the concept.
Well, thanks for watching Inside Indiana Business on YouTube. For the latest statewide business news, be sure to visit InsideIndianaBusiness.com and subscribe to our free daily e-newsletters by clicking on the link.